I will be sharing some small space gardening ideas with you. This is my Jamaican backyard garden. My name is Stacy. Welcome and welcome back to my garden. Here I am doing my little small space garden right here in Portmore, Jamaica. If I can do it, you can do it too. I do my YouTube gardening with the intention of inspiring others to grow their own food. I hope this video will be an inspiration to you and kindly share with others so it can be an inspiration to them as well. Come garden with me now, man. So I am going to give you these ideas that I came up with. You can also even do better than I am doing right now. It may not be exactly the way I do it, but it will at least give you an idea as to how you can go about your gardening. All right, so if you notice right here, these are buckets that I have here, 5-gallon buckets. This one is a 3-gallon, but for the most part, I have mainly 5-gallon buckets. And inside these 5-gallon buckets, you can see are my fruit trees. I have several fruit trees. Look at these blooms. This is a June plum tree, for those who don't know. And see, I have June plums on there. So, yes, it can be grown in 5-gallon buckets. These are dwarf fruit trees, however. All right, so there are several. I even have one right here that I'm waiting to get bucket to put in. But just to show you that you can incorporate 5-gallon buckets in your garden. This is a papaya tree right here. Down this side, see, I have a banana tree in this 5-gallon bucket. And it is even giving me sucker right there. All right, so these black plastic containers, these are not pots that were made for vegetables or flowers or anything. I turned them into pots. Purchased these at a regular store, and what I did was to put holes in the bottom of them. I have 3 sizes. This is the smallest of them, then this size, and then this size right here. I chose them because I realized they were very sturdy and that they could last a long time. And I've had these a little over a year, and I do not regret the purchase any at all. And with these bigger ones, I am able to do companion planting, a lot of companion planting. I do companion planting with the smaller ones, but the bigger ones, would have accommodated more plants. All right, so right here, as you can see, I have this grapevine, and this is a makeshift trellis that it is running on. What I did was to get 2 irons. This is one, and this is another one. And I stuck them in the ground like that. The other one. So I stuck them in the ground like that, and then lean them to the wall, like you're seeing over there. And then I use some string to tie from one end to the other, and then run the grapevines on it. So that is my grapevine right there, doing so well. Right here, this thing what appears to be a table or a stand, this was actually a shelf. It only has 2 feet, one right there and one right there. At the back, there are no feet around there, so that is why I shove it close to the wall like that so that it could brace on the wall. And then I put these 2 feet in the ground like that. So that's only 2 feet and it is very firm, very, very firm. So that's how I came about that stand. And see, there's a second one up there. So I have 2 of those stands, very sturdy. No, this trellis that you're looking at and this one is not filled with anything just yet. But this one, which is the same trellis, it has my cucumbers. And see, I am getting cucumbers. And I've grown several cucumbers on here before. So I know it's very sturdy and that it can actually hold the weight of the cucumbers. So just to get back to this one right here, what I did was I got a chair. This is one side of the chair and this is another side of the chair. So what I did was to pull it apart and then I put one side like this in my containers. So right here I'm using 3 containers. So the one in the middle has both legs of each side in it, and then the other 2 containers has one of each in them. So as you can see, I joined them together in this one, and then one right there and one right there. Then I got some strings and I just ran them from one end to the other, just as with the grapevine. So this is how simple it is. So if you have an old chair, you can always go ahead and pull them apart and do just like this. And the fact that it is metal as well, I am expecting it to last some time. So over here I have some tomato cages. These I got off Amazon. So if you're interested, I will link them in the description. You can go ahead and make your purchase. My tomatoes are coming up, so soon you will have a better view of them in the cages. And this is because I want to have a more uniform look of my tomatoes. I still have pear tomatoes right here. As you can see, they grow very, very tall. So the last ones that I had, they grow so tall and they were all over the place. So I decided, just to get a more uniform, neater look, I went ahead and I got these cages. In these containers, you can grow just about anything. See, I have my sugarcane growing in these containers right here, and they are doing very, very well. And these started out from stage like this. You can check out my videos on my sugarcane growing in pot. No, I have, of this side, I have barrels. This was a huge barrel that I cut to plant this coconut tree in. And this is a dwarf coconut tree that I am so excited to see what will become of it. These other 2 alpha barrels, I recently planted my dragon fruits in. So I am very excited and I can't wait to see what become of them as well. So this is one of the chair that I used to make the trellis that I showed you earlier. So this was the chair altogether. So I did not pull this one apart. I just put it over the container so that I could have my chayote or my chocho running on these back parts of the chair. So this was how the chair looked initially, and I took these out so I could have both ends of the chair to open up and to make the trellis just the way I showed you. No, I could not have a garden space without chairs. I couldn't. A lot of my relaxed time at home is in my garden. This is where I unwind, I pray, I think, and I just relax. So I could not have this garden without incorporating chairs in it. No, these that you're looking at, so these are some old chairs that I got from a friend. I didn't get them with seats, and so the seats that were on this chair, after I pulled them apart, I just put the board right here, and there goes my chairs. Now, over here, before, when I just started out, these are some jugs, 5-gallon jugs that I had cut in halves that I initially started out with. These 5-gallon buckets as well, I had the covers on them, and I also cut them into halves. So before I was using these black containers, I was using these 5-gallon buckets cut in halves. I do not have any right now to show you because I completely changed over to these black containers. I have these containers over here as well, these buckets. I believe these are 2.5-gallon buckets that I'm using to grow my potatoes in. You can also use those as well. All right, so these containers that I have the tomatoes in, as you can see, they are on old chairs that came with that table over there that I'm no longer using. Well, inside. And so I took the chairs and I made a stand. So as you can see right here, this is a piece of board that after I place all the chairs together like this, I put the piece of board on top and then put my containers right on it. So for those who do not know, this right here are grass that I bought from the store. So these are not real grass. I bought a few yards, cut them how I wanted them to put them in the areas I wanted them. So you can see I have red mulch over there. All of these spaces were filled with red mulch, just to give my garden a nice look. But because I've been changing up a lot, I did not get back to putting them back. So I may just put them back. What do you think? Should I? So I had them in spaces like these, and for the areas that I walk, I put the artificial grass. As you can see, I have board under here before putting down the grass. And these are just for the main areas. For example, this one, it is flat on the ground. I didn't have board to put for all of the spaces. And so some of them are flat on the ground. So before placing them on the ground, I first put garbage bag on the ground itself before I add the red mulch or the grass. I will link a video in the description how I did this initially. So you can actually take that idea and use it in your backyard space as well. It gives you a good feel. Now, as you can see, I have stakes right here. These are repurposed broomsticks. So these broomsticks are brooms that I no longer use. So instead of throwing them away, I save them, and see, I am making use of them here in my small garden. So there goes another idea. So these alpha barrels, instead of putting them flat on the ground, I got some concrete blocks and put them on. So just to elevate them off the ground. That one as well. All right, so over here, these are my pineapples. And it may seem as if they're in what appears to be grow bags. These are not grow bags. These are shopping bags. So yes, what I did was to fill the shopping bags with soil and just plant them in. I think I have about five, yes, all five of them are in shopping bags. You know, over time the color gets duller and duller and duller after watering and watering and watering. So you may not see the initial color, but they're actually shopping bags. If this YouTube gardening video was any at all useful to you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And feel free to share with others so they too can also get some small space gardening ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, walk good.